Before we get started today, a quick word from today's sponsor, Benchwarmers Plus. If you're tired of sweating through overpriced gym memberships, Benchwarmers Plus has you covered. They deliver all of the essentials of being an athlete without any of the work. Every month, you'll get a box with a clean sideline towel, fresh pine-scented bench cushions, and even an energy bar you'll never eat, but will definitely post on Instagram. Use code FLAGRANT at checkout for 50% off your first box and free personalized water bottle. Perfect for holding Gatorade or, let's be honest, just Diet Coke. And now for our episode 9 of Flagrant Foul.
The run is out. Run is out. Yeah. Hey, Cleveland roots with a reckless style. Take so bold to the flagrant foul. House on the ice, know that they pride. Wrestle and talk about culture, ride from rich to Nate. It's full court wild, say back press play. It's flagrant foul. Yeah, it's flagrant foul.
Welcome to episode 9 of Flagrant Foul with Rich and Nate. I'm your host, Rich. Got my co-host, Nate, here with me. Say what up, Nate.
What's going on, everybody?
So, been a little bit of a crazy week. I know we're late this week on our episode, but been traveling to San Francisco, and Nate's been getting up to all kinds of hijinks at the Berg and whatever. A lot going on, a lot in the sports world, a lot of Browns takes that I don't really want to have to talk about it anymore, but we're going to do it anyway. So let's start with a positive, Nate. How was homecoming at the Berg, Nate?
It was great. Lots of beers were drank. Played some beer die. Got to see all the boys, so that was good. Pretty rusty on beer die. You could tell that it's been a minute. Definitely, usually I win almost every game, but I'm on status now in beer die.
It was a little.
How was the young guys?
The young guys. How was self-proclaimed champion of beer die, AB?
He's not very good. I can't lie about that. But playing with him is impossible. What should have been a 15-20 minute game took about 4 hours. Driving me crazy. He just doesn't stop talking, can't stay focused to the game. Impossible to get through a game. I was about to lose my mind. So
he's trying to distract you.
I guess so. But
yikes. Well, get up to any karaoke, any at the Bears Den, get any beers, arts, anything going on there?
They did do some karaoke. I didn't sing because I wasn't over in the area when they went up. I came back halfway through the song. But they did a great job, so that was good. And there was 16 people on the stage. So I didn't want to run up there and crowd it. But no, we didn't play darts. It was pretty packed, so we didn't do much but just kind of chill and talk and
nice,
that kind of stuff. But it was good.
Any other alumni that didn't graduate last year show up? I didn't ask you that.
Nunez.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Well, good. I'm sure that was good getting back. Probably a little bittersweet. I'm sure it was nice hanging with the fellas, but
it was nice.
Cool.
I had a good time, but I was definitely getting to a point where I'm ready to go home. One night was enough.
Old man adulthood is setting in quickly.
It was exhausting a little bit. I kind of just wanted to go to bed.
Yeah. So you rascals are a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we used to walk everywhere. We had to walk home. I'm not trying to do this. I just want to call an Uber. I'm tired.
Oh, sure. Where is Joshy's place? Is by Tiffin, right?
I thought it was Hayden's same house because it's right there, but it's not. But it's basically right where Hayden lived. Yeah,
that's one of those things you drive in a car and be like, oh, I can just walk over here. And then you walk and you get a quarter of the way and go. I pretty much am doing a marathon right now.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but just not what I felt like doing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It could have been worse, but it was okay.
Cool. All right, well, let's get into our sports news. I'm not going to do a ton of baseball talk, and I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer like I've seen some people that are typical, the Guards are never going to win as long as they have the ownership and whatever. Let's be for real, folks. I don't think we had high expectations. I thought we cashed in the season, but the boys said otherwise, and quite honestly, they overachieved. They made it fun. I'm not going to knock them for that. So congrats to the Guards on an awesome season. Regardless, the Tigers are going to be sent home, and they're going to be the team that it's sort of like, do you want to be the guy that like gets third place at a tournament or the guy that loses and gets second place? I kind of feel like we got third because we took the Central Division pennant home, but the Tigers will be sitting at home. Blue Jays got the bats going. So regardless, unlike some other teams that we root for, I'm going to take my hat off to the team that overachieved, and it's always fun. So great season to the Guards. Any thoughts?
I thought the Tigers were playing the Mariners for starters.
They are, but Jays are
Oh,
playing. I know
see.
they're not
actually
out.
in the middle of the game versus the Mariners. Basically, what it boils down to is I do agree that there's only so far that they can go with the team that they have, and they're not going to win if they don't start spending money because you have teams like the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Dodgers that have money and will spend it. So they're never going to get over the hump if they don't start spending money. With that being said, they did overachieve. I'm just happy that they made it. Tigers fans acting like they're amazing because they beat us. You're not winning the World Series. You're not winning the AL. So congratulations on making it to the second round. Even if you win and make it to the AL championship, if you lose, which you're probably going to, that means nothing. At least we lost in the playoffs we weren't supposed to be in, and we took your division from you. You didn't win the division. You have to play an extra 3 weeks of baseball, and you get nothing out of it. So basically, congratulations on your short off season for no reason because you have nothing to show for it. So that's what I have to say about Detroit.
Yeah. Exactly. And my point was, they're not. They're playing the Mariners right now, but win your series, you're getting hooped. It's coming, so that's fine.
Yeah,
we'll lose. I mean, that last game 3 was not beautiful by the Indians, but they had 2 good games. We got a win, and we split the first 2 games. And like I said, good on season. Have your beef with the owner, but don't have your beef with the players because they put it all out there. So. All right, well, let's not prolong the inevitable anymore. Nate and I got an opportunity to jump on the Let's Go podcast or live stream last week, and we talked about the London game. Great bunch of guys, it was very cordial and good discussion the whole bit. I will say the Browns are not a bad team. The Browns are a poorly run team, if you ask me. So, people may beat us. We're a 1-4 team. You do not want to play this team right now. I wouldn't want to play this team right now. As you go into a game against the Browns thinking this is going to be an easy win, you're going to take an L. Because I think there is some talent. Again, bright spot in the game. The rookies continue to shine. Quinshon Judkins looks awesome. I love his mix of power, speed. Man, he's fun to watch. I'm ready to make Bond our number one. Didn't do tons in the game, but when he's targeted, he catches the ball and he's fast. Jerry Jeudy, he can leave. I'm tired of him not catching the ball. Really great seeing David. He looked great, motivated. A David Fannin 1-2 punch right there. That's hard to cover. And right now our offense is unimaginative and boring. So we really need the tight ends. Just think if we can open up any downfield play. Defense, I don't think they look great. I think that was probably their worst game. With all of that said, and you could say the same thing about the Lions game. They played good enough to win the game. So, you're not always going to have their A performance. Some of that is I think they got schemed. Definitely they had the answer to our front four. Absent pressure, we get picked apart in the back end. We talked about it going into the season. I think I had concerns with the secondary. The secondaries played much better than I thought that they were going to play. But absent a pass rush, they're exposed. So Denzel didn't have the best game in the world. I thought Greg had an okay game. He still looks okay. I still think he looks okay, and they were trying to pick on him. And quite honestly, he could have got burned way worse, or maybe I expected him to get burned way worse, but he didn't. So
I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, I agree with I don't think the Browns are a bad team. I know that everybody else that's an NFL fan probably thinks so. And to your point, like teams are getting ready for their game versus the Browns, thinking this is an easy win, and that's not necessarily the case. They have at this point, they have the pieces. They have enough pieces to get the job done if everyone could like figure it out. If Stefanski can start like getting his head out of his butt, um, the defense did play good enough to win. I mean, like I think back to I know that the Chiefs they lost last night. They're 2-3 now, but like we have a better receiving core than the Chiefs. Like they have I don't even know if Xavier
Yeah.
Worthy's really playing much. I think he is playing much, but Xavier Worthy and Isaiah Bond are essentially the same player. And then behind him they have Tyquan Thornton and Juju Smith-Schuster. You're gonna tell me that Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman are not better than that? Like we had Judkins is better than Isaiah Pacheco. Our defense, I can't name one player on the Chiefs defense. Like I think that we are a better team than a lot of the teams in the league, but
Mhm.
they're just not coached well. And part of that is like the offensive play calling isn't good. There's no discipline, and I put that on the coach at the end of the day. I mean, Judkins had like 70 some rushing yards and a touchdown called back because of penalties. At the end of the
I
day,
think
that's
that's
discipline.
yeah, and I think that's an important distinction. I mean, really, when you talk about coaching, it's coaching. It's not just one coach, but I will say the lion's share of the penalties are on the offensive side of the ball. Like a Miles jumping, trying to get a jump, or an occasional, even with the pass interference. I mean, we've had a couple little ones, but I haven't been frustrated by that this year. Like, I think overall, what you see in the league, like they've been good there, but the offensive side of the ball, I mean, just
It's
no
just holding,
cohesion.
holding.
Yeah,
Like, and
false start.
while I will say that part of it is discipline on like, I would say false start is discipline and coaching. Holding could be a little bit of both, but also like at the end of the day, our O-line sucks. And if they don't hold them, then the dude's going to run right past them. So
Yeah, I mean,
the O-line being bad is part of the penalty issue because they don't really have a choice but to hold. Um, but that goes back to like not coaching, but Andrew Berry, like our O line's buns. Go get somebody like Cam
yeah,
Robinson. He's not that guy. Like we have money. You restructure Denzel's contract for what? You get rid of. I know we haven't talked about it yet, but Joe Flacco's gone. Um, like we have money. We might not have more money than it like other teams that are spending, but like we have something. We can make something
yeah.
happen. I don't know why we're just like just I don't what's the word I'm looking for? Okay with being subpar. Like we just accepted that we're just gonna be a mid team.
Well, I mean, I guess let's start here. If we know any firefighters in the Cleveland area, if we could get some jaws of life over to Stefanski's house stat to have his head removed from his ass, that's probably the first place to start because he's pissing me off. And honestly, like it just really starting to come off like he thinks he's smarter than everybody, or he thinks he has these grand plans for how he's going to bring guys along. Like you've not developed jack shit on the offensive side of the ball, so let's just knock it off with that crap right now. I think but I'm trying to stay positive. I was pretty pissed. I will say this. We are a lot better team, and there's a lot to be excited about for this team going forward. I think there is. It's just frustrating to be so out of it this early in the year, and I'm tired of doing the wait to next year. I don't love the coaching staff. I think it's a fair point to say if you get rid of them, who do you got? I don't know, but I don't think he's a rock star, and I think he's losing the room. And I think if they continue to lose, he's really going to lose the room. They'll turn on him. I mean, the guy's got a losing overall coaching record. I don't know why we've sort of anointed this guy the second coming, but let's just look at our division and try to find some silver linings. I would say, 100%. There's a- I got a quick interruption there from somebody's little sister. She keeps calling, so anywho. Yeah, so let's just look at the division. Cincinnati, worst team, definitely. No offensive line. Joe Burrows can't stay healthy. Like, just even past this season, the guy gets hurt constantly. I think they got some guys in potential contract situations in the future that probably aren't going to want to be there. I take our team over the Ravens right now with the young guys we have. I
Well,
mean, I know
their whole team's hurt.
I
That's
know
the
we're
problem with the
worked right now.
Ravens.
I know we got worked by them, but again, there's
They're
some
all hurt.
pieces
Like
in the
Lamar
future.
didn't play this past weekend. I don't think Derrick Henry played. Like, they were missing a lot of people, and they got smoked. What was I gonna say? But like, we're a 1-4 team that should be 3-2, and we didn't
Yeah.
lose to the Bengals, and we didn't lose to the Vikings. We lost to the Browns. Both games we lost to the Browns.
Yeah. So can we get
So-
into the Gabriel play? So I think
I thought he was
I've
fine.
kind of done a 180 I'm not a 180, but I think I've just delved into this a little bit more this week. Flacco was so monumentally horseshit that seeing somebody mobile that looked like he cared, he's out there. The runs, I loved watching him, get loose and, play with a little heart trying to pick up some runs. He spread the ball around now. Stefanski is playing it safe and absolutely refuses to open up the offense, but, so everything was short, but he spread the ball around nicely and sure helps to have a running back who, I think our guys last week that we, on Let's Goal brought up a valid point about, Stefanski's used to having an Adrian Peterson in the background that the guy's just, he's going to find a way to get yardage. And, we have an offensive line that it's okay in the run blocking, but, it's definitely a lot of new pieces in that line. But Judkins is just getting more confidence. Like I'm not saying he's Adrian Peterson right now, but he's looking like a premier back that's like, the dude's strong, he's powerful, he's getting yards. So that helps, having a running game that they got to, keep an extra guy in the box to try to key in on. That's going to help out, down the field. With all of that said, Dylan he didn't turn the ball over. Great. He was a little bit of a game manager. I appreciated what he saw out of him. It'll be interesting as now there's some film on him, how teams play him. I think he looked like it was exciting and he didn't have anything wrong. Did I sit there and go like, this was our franchise quarterback? No, I still want to see Shedeur at some point. And you know what? We may end up going back. But to your point with the offensive line and AB's just absolutely like being allergic to going
Just
after
content
a lineman.
with being bad. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a flagrant foul podcast without some technical difficulties.
I just roundhouse to the mic.
But, it's a thing. Like if we solve our issue at some of these premier positions, and we have a guy, we can go into next year's draft with money picks and maybe that's where we go when we get some young offensive linemen. We need secondary, we need offensive line. I think we got to get another young linebacker. There's things we need. This attitude of we're just gonna, we need to go after a first round pick quarterback next year. I don't want to do it for what? If you're not going to get a line for him, then let's just run with what we got.
Yeah. I thought that Dylan Gabriel was fine. I do want to see Shedeur. But I think it's time that we just stop beating around the bush and just if we're going to talk quarterbacks, let's talk Joe Flacco's gone.
Hip, hooray.
Which blows my mind. I heard that they were in talks with the Giants with Jameis Winston, and the deal was all but done. And then last minute, the Giants were like, psych, we want more. And then the Bengals were like, no, we're good. We're going to go get Joe Flacco. So Joe Flacco, let me think, didn't score 20 points all season behind our offensive line. Somehow, some way, because ours is garbage, the Bengals is much worse. And Joe Burrow is about as mobile as a quarterback as you can get. He's not Lamar Jackson, and he's probably not as mobile as Josh Allen. But aside from those two, he's as mobile as you're going to get in the league right now. And he can't survive behind that line. He hasn't survived behind that line since he's been in the NFL. And you're going to put Joe Flacco back there? He's going to die. He will die. So
Tell me that doesn't say something, though. It's he gives us our best chance to win veteran leadership. All this shit you said about him.
Yeah, and then you're just
not only
peace
did you
out.
bench him, but you sent him into a division rival. And I got to think part of me is let's just send him to Cincinnati. So what if we have to play him? He's dog shit. He's going
Yes.
Miles may
Miles is
commit a
going
homicide.
to get arrested for what he does to Joe Flacco.
Yes.
That O-line is garbage, and Joe Flacco can't move. Blows my mind. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. I mean,
I'm glad.
with our luck, he's going to go out there and just throw like 27,000 touchdowns with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and they're probably going to win the Super Bowl just because that's what happens. But
I don't think it happens,
don't-
though, man.
I don't
Not
see
that.
it happening. I don't see it happening, but like I just have a gut feeling that he's going to go and ball out just because the Browns are the Browns. With that being said, Dylan Gabriel still the starter. I would like to see Shedeur. I don't know when that time comes because I think that Dylan Gabriel played good enough that he's really going to have to like play pretty bad. Because I mean, it took how long with Joe Flacco playing bad for him to get benched? I think Dylan Gabriel is going to have to play a lot worse than he did for us to see Shedeur. And with that, something I did not like, I saw a video of Deion Sanders. They're like, oh, did you hear about Joe Flacco getting traded, blah, 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 blah. He's like, I do not care about the Browns at all. I don't like that. That gives me the vibe that Shedeur also has that same feeling. And he just cares about Shedeur being a quarterback and playing, and Shedeur having good stats, no matter the team.
I didn't
or
hear
what.
that.
I don't love that.
I think that Shedeur has shown since he's been out of the house here, he's his own man a little bit. And I will say,
agree.
I've seen reports he's been working his ass off. He's over at B-Dub, throwing to some D3 receivers, getting extra work with his quarterback coach and all of that. You know, I think that's if you hook up Deion to a lie detector test, that's probably him saying, I don't work. That's his way of saying, I don't work for the Browns. I'm focused on my health and the
He did
CU.
say,
But
I
will
care about
say,
Colorado. So
that's probably his thing. But this is, unfortunately for him, everything he says is under a microscope. So it's not a great look. And unfortunately, whether he meant to or not, all it does is open up for some a-holes in the media
to talk bad about Shedeur.
To just find a reason to make it about him. The kid hasn't done anything. So anyway, I said, I'm out here in SF and I was tied up all day. And I know you broke the news about the Flacco trading earlier. Have they announced a depth chart? Is Shedeur the 2?
I think the unofficial week 6 depth chart is DG1, Shedeur 2. I think that they're going to kind of like confirm that tomorrow in a press conference. This is kind of my prediction, and I would be shocked if this didn't happen. So I think Dave said this. We did the run around to all training camp, all beginning of the season. Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco taking first team reps while Dylan Gabriel got some and Shedeur didn't get anything. And now Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett are gone.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel has played in like he's started one game and played about 37 seconds of another game. In his total career, Shedeur has never played in a regular season game. Deshaun Watson's coming back. Deshaun Watson is playing
right now.
I'm gonna regret saying that when he comes back. It sucks, but I don't hate it. We're paying the guy how much? Quarterbacks are never like. Very rarely do you throw a rookie out there and then they're just like amazing and they're going to be amazing forever. You throw a rookie out there, they might have flashes. They like very, very rarely do they just automatically become the guy. So if they have to sit behind Deshaun for a year and then maybe they come out, I would like to see that. But like,
let's
you gotta
be for
think
real.
that we're paying Deshaun $230 million. Like, and when he's healthy, he's going to play.
Yeah, if he's going to force our hand right now, too, like he's coming back, he's on. And we cleared out room and bring him back because what else are you going to do with him? Like,
yeah, I mean, it makes sense because
that's fine.
Bailey Zappi's not playing. He's a practice guy, and that's it. Deshaun Watson.
You know, with Shedeur, to that point, and I agree with you on that one. I think until that's solved, I want to see Shedeur as the 2. I don't want to see Zappy because.
I agree. It needs to be Dylan and Shedeur. I know they're going to be
until
like,
Watson
Zappy
comes back.
Yes. They're going to be like, oh, Zappy's QB2, Shedeur's still 3. If they do that, I'm not watching anymore.
Because that's going to say a lot. But to your point, though, like if Shedeur gets his crack because, Dylan injury or like, he's, Dylan falls off and starts looking terrible or something, I would rather see him get named going into a week
instead of just
plan.
come in like
he comes into a game we're getting like dog
Yeah.
shit on and gets just absolutely killed. I don't want to see that.
I agree.
So,
But yeah, you got to think like Dylan Gabriel looked fine. We're expecting Deshaun coming back. We don't need 4 quarterbacks, and we have Joe Flacco's time in Cleveland will expire sooner rather than later. So if we're getting rid of somebody, let's get rid of Joe Flacco, because at this point we know what we have in him, and we've already moved on. We have a team that's desperate and is willing to give us something for him. Why not?
yeah.
We already know that. I guarantee you Deshaun is coming back. Which, again, I did not hate how he played last year before he got hurt. I know everybody in Cleveland hates him, even though Kareem Hunt is on camera kicking somebody, but whatever. Kareem Hunt scored a whole bunch of touchdowns, so everybody in Cleveland likes him. Which I agree that it does seem that Kareem Hunt has redeemed himself, but I just think it's funny how we pick and choose.
Yeah, you're
Also,
right.
like, it seems like everybody in Cleveland loves Quinshot Judkins. That dude was like
You're right. That's how
in a prison
quietly.
cell 2 months ago. Isaiah Bond, same thing. I haven't heard one bad thing about Isaiah Bond or Quinshot Judkins, and they're in the same exact boat.
That's how
So,
funny is it? Memories just go away as soon as people start
literally, like, if
producing.
Deshaun Watson wins the Super Bowl in Cleveland, like, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, I love it. Like, it doesn't matter.
Here's the difference.
People will change their mind. I thought he looked fine last year before he got hurt. That Raiders game, he was the best player on the field. Mari Cooper lost that game for us. Like, I really
Yeah.
don't think that he was as bad as they made it seem. I don't think he was as amazing as he was, like, cut out to be. Like, they made him seem like we were getting the best quarterback in the league, and he's not that. But I don't think he's as bad as everybody thinks he is. And I think that we're paying him so much money, it's worth a shot to see what we have. Like, we already know, we've seen a lot, but we're paying him this money. Give him a chance. If he sucks, then okay, we still have our 2 rookies. What does it matter? We're 1-4. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
So,
we have 2 first-round
let
picks.
me couple points on Watson here, and I'm not like a big Watson fan or anything, but I will say this. Since when he signed and came here, he seemed very disinterested. It's about the money. He hasn't seemed super interested. His body language has been poor. The one time in the 3+ years that we have had him where he has seemed motivated, something to prove, and just absolute like chip on his shoulder.
On his airport?
I just saw a message about our ride to the airport tomorrow, and I just completely, oh man.
Oh,
drifted
Deshaun
in my
wants to
thought.
eat the
No,
chips at the
but-
airport. Let's go.
Wait. But since he's had a chip on his shoulder, dude looks like he wants to play, like he's coming back with a vengeance. He wants to prove something. And I will say the other point to that, time, I'm not excusing, I'm not the judge, the jury, the anything. He's pissed me off with his play and this and that. Let me go back to a couple other guys. Kareem Hunt, as you stated, literally on camera, some time, the right setting, seemed like an actual change in him. And he's the one guy that seems like he might have like turned his life around and that's been better. But let me harken back to a few more years. If anybody remembers the whole Ben Roethlisberger and his potential rape allegations and everything that happened to him early on in his career, and then, he settled down and got married. And I don't know. I know he settled, which I guess you could say the same about Deshaun, but, he kind of moved forward, settled down, whatever, and he builds his career. Deshaun's kind of flown under the radar. He's still around the organization. I haven't heard him say things like, if I'm not going to play, cut me. Like, he hasn't really run his mouth too much. He's got married, settled down. So maybe he comes back and we're like, holy crap. Now, the most Browns things ever will be, he comes back, absolutely is all world for a season. And then we go into next year and he's even over all world. And then his contract's up and he goes, you remember all the shit you guys talked about me? F you Browns, I'm going somewhere else. That would totally happen to us. But
yeah, probably.
I don't know. Crazier things are happening.
At
the guy played at one point
it is
in this league.
not going to change the course that we're on right now, which is maybe 2 more wins the rest of the year. We are not doing anything more than what we're already at. Why not, like, give Deshaun his chance, give Shedeur his chance. Like, I want to see everybody play. I think that this year, at the very least, needs to be like an experiment. Like, each quarterback will have their shot. Whoever plays the best at the end of the year, this is your team, and the rest of them can take a hike. But,
Yeah.
like, he is taking up so much of our of our salary cap, like, he's going to get his chance. I do agree that it seems like even just since he's gotten to Cleveland, like, he has had nothing but, like, good things to say, I feel like, about Cleveland. Like, he hasn't run his mouth. He hasn't really said anything. I agree that, like, body language might not have been fantastic, but, like, I think back to, like, not last year, the year before, he, like, led us to that comeback victory versus the Ravens, and then, like, that game, he got hurt and was done for the year. Like, he had glimpses of, like, a Baker Mayfield, like, making runs, like, putting his body on the line trying to win the game, which, like, I know I compared to Baker Mayfield, who we should still have, but, like, everybody loves Baker and the way he played, like, he was doing things like that, and it seems like he's motivated, he wants to come back, and I think he knows that everybody in Cleveland doesn't like him, but, like, I don't think that that has any effect on him. I think that he wants to play football and he wants to, like, prove to everybody, like, I made a change, I got married, like, since I've been in Cleveland, what have you heard about me? Nothing. Like, I'm trying to change my ways. I want to come back from this injury and be a good quarterback for this team. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm a Deshaun Watson fan or whatnot, but from as a fan looking in, like, it seems as if he's trying. I mean, if he's ready to go, I would not be upset seeing what he has just so we can just, like, we know we've seen him and it hasn't been great, but, like, this is
Yeah.
probably it for him. This is probably it for him. So why not have one last game and be like, yes or no, final answer, and then we're moving on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think winning saves all, will fix all. I keep getting my phone. Winning will cure everything, I mean, the thing is, I'll say this. Again, we're not here to say my opinions purely on what has been convictions have been and what his play has been here. His play has been terrible. And so usually when there's smoke, there's fire. But I will say no case is brought forward. And for all of the high and mighty Browns fans that are going to do the whole screw this guy and it's not based on his play, that are all cheering for Quinshon Judkins, Isaiah Bond, and I'm sure that's not all. Yeah. You see that right there?
Bro!
That was karma. Karma said, this Browns flag hanging behind you, Nate, I just need to rip you down because you played like absolute trash last weekend. But like I said, I think that is probably the plan. Now, you got to think that they know that Deshaun's getting close. I think last week when I talked, he was just entering his 21-day basically like activity period. So I mean, I think he's a couple weeks away if everything goes right. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a tough rest of the season. I'm trying to look for silver linings. Before we move on to the rest of the NFL, just a couple people that I will give their day to. I did not mind the Jerome Ford utilization in the last game. He played all right. He looked okay on pass protection. He had a couple of nice carries. Was fine. Gage, Larvadain,
Larvadan.
Larvadan. I don't know. I've heard her pronounced like 17 different ways. Either way, other than one signaled fair catch that I wish he would have, I think he let that bounce that I wish he would have picked up and ran. That was an improvement over the return game. He definitely looked better.
I think he did too.
I thought he looked a lot better. He looks like a guy that's trying to prove that he wants to be here. I'd like to see Luke maybe come up at some point. And I thought, who was the other guy they brought up? Malik. I thought he played. He had a couple catches in that game as well. Did he not?
I'm not sure.
So
I was trying to, like, drive and watch the game, so I didn't catch all of it.
that's always good. It's nothing like get mad at the Browns watching while trying to drive an hour and 15 minutes home, but. Yeah, so there are bright spots. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to suffer through this year, and I think what's gonna compound the suffering is that we're in such a dog shit division in a conference that's not looking like the stronger conference. That like we're gonna just like we'll mess around and we'll beat the Steelers this week and be like 2-4. We're just gonna like make us feel like we potentially could be in this for like a few more weeks, and knowing full well right now that we're not. But it's whatever. I'd like to say I'm at the point like I have been before where it's I beat our rivals, but we're not going to. I don't have any hope to win this game in Pittsburgh this weekend. Do you feel the same way?
I think Miles is gonna get to Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is Joe Flacco 2.0, but
Dude, he's such a punk too. I'd
I
love to
can't
see him
really
just get lit
feel
up.
I really don't feel like this Pittsburgh team is that great. Like
Yeah.
their offense is nothing special. They have DK Metcalf, that's about it. He's not Justin Jefferson.
Well, address the
Um,
elephant in the room. It's the exact opposite. You got a team with a defense that's very talented and some really talented young pieces and some of the worst coaching, and then you got a team with not tons. And as much as I hate to say it, Mike Tomlin is a winning good coach. And unfortunately, the dude just brings winners out every year. It sucks. So around the NFL wise, Chiefs lost. They definitely don't look like a great team. I think Broncos pains me to see them compete. I just think that they're
they're
like,
garbage.
yeah, I still think they're a paper champ. I don't think they're that great, man. Whatever. Let them have their win. Travis Hunter looked a little better. If I'm the Jags, we're having another heart to heart. Say you're an offensive player, and we're not going to do
He
this
really needs to
defensive
pick one.
experiment.
Everyone was like, "Oh, if you pick Travis Hunter, you get a corner and a receiver." Travis Hunter, you get half of a receiver and half of a corner. He doesn't
Yeah,
play the whole game at either position. So it's like, would you rather have a receiver that plays every offensive down or like most of them, like every other receiver, or he only plays 50-50? I think it's dumb. You don't even have
yeah,
you don't have a full player on either side of the ball. You have half.
yeah.
So I think it's stupid.
Y- Yep. Um, Bills go down. That was an interesting
You know,
loss to the Pats.
yeah,
But it's a
I mean,
divisional game.
the Patriots beating the Bills makes me feel better about us, just because
Yeah.
the Bills are looking like they just destroying everybody, and then they lose to the Patriots. Of course, coached by Mike Vrabel, who should be the coach in Cleveland instead of
Yeah.
the heartless Kevin Stefanski. But like that
Uh,
makes me feel better. Seeing the Chiefs not doing well, that makes me feel better. It feels awesome that we I know that Travis Hunter hasn't done anything spectacular, but we gave them Travis Hunter to Jacksonville, and they're like 4-1 now, so that's awesome.
yeah, right. Well, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have Jacksonville's gonna be a bad team. We got their number one
Yeah,
pick.
we're
Now they're
gonna get
winning
like a top
games.
5 pick
Great.
with Jacksonville. No, we'll probably have like the 15th pick. We'll get stuck with some random bum.
Or maybe it'll be a good thing so that we won't miss on a high pick, which we'll do. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
want to see that. So
instead of taking the guy that if we were gonna take at 15 at 5, we're gonna take the guy that we were gonna take it anyways at the pick that he should have been picking.
yeah. Well, like I said, it's still early in the season. It's a little. We thought we were seeing who the tough teams were, which I like. Again, I'm not. A Bills losing in a divisional game. I mean, they're going to get a tough game in the division. Philly
They're not gonna
losing.
win every game.
Philly's another one. I mean, I'm not really reading too much into those things. Washington. I thought Washington was going to be a better team on both sides of the ball, and they're not. So yeah, we'll see. We'll move on to this week. It is Steelers week. I'd love to get all hyped up and spit a bunch of like vitriol and anger at the Steelers. Screw those guys for ending essentially for all practical purposes Nick Chubb's career here in Cleveland. So F them. I hated them before, but I hate them for that, and I want nothing good to happen to them. I don't feel good about the game, but scumbag organization, and hopefully we mess up and we win a game, though I'm putting $0 down on this game. Um, Fantasy football wise, before I move on to college, dude, I started off with the highest point total in the league, just 4 straight losses. And if you ever needed more proof to just not watch preseason, I will eat crow on this one. I talked about being mad that we got Quinshon Judkins because he had just gotten arrested, and we had Travion Henderson was returning kicks for touchdowns. That dude's been trash on my fantasy team. He's
Uh-huh.
absolutely killing me right now. Yeah, receivers are dropping like flies. So it's if you're in at least a 12 plus team league in fantasy, it's tough sledding out there because there's not a lot available. How are your teams doing?
So the one team that I paid $20 to be in the league, um, should have won this week. We lost by like maybe 2 points. Didn't realize that Brock Bowers is on the boo-boo bench because he I don't even know. I literally don't know what his deal is. So I didn't have, and my backup is Njoku, who started his game at 9:30 in the morning. Um, so I didn't have a backup tight end to put in, and I took a goose egg at tight end. So I
Yeah.
lost that game by 2 points with missing a player. So I'm not happy about that game at all because I was getting ready to like break into like the top half of the league if I won that game, but I got screwed. I'm looking at my other league. I'm 2-3 in the other league. I lost by 2 points in that game in this league too, apparently. So that's great. And I have a
Yeah,
Marion Hampton. He's on IR. Oh my gosh, this team's cooked. I have a Marion Hampton. He's just got put on IR. I had Malik Neighbors. He tore his ACL. I had Joe Burrow. He's on IR. This team's terrible. I'm dropping Malik Neighbors right now.
I had Njoku hadn't done much this year, and he had a questionable, even though I knew he'd play. So I took a flyer on Fannin. I was feeling good on that first drive, and then just angry because Njoku had a nice little game. That was sort of the difference in me winning or losing. But oh well. I had my fantasy hockey drafts last week, so team looks okay. So I'm gonna put all my chips in that league and in the hat in that league, and hopefully it looks a little better. So positive news: Notre Dame, not a blowout, but they got a nice dub over a 3-1 Boise State team. Last week I think we were a little frustrated with we had a nice win. We only went up one spot. This week, up 5 spots to 16. The playoff is in sight. We just got to keep taking care of business. Huge help. Texas and Penn State both just absolutely getting cooped by inferior opponents and bounced out of the top 25. So that's awesome. It's but losing to terrible teams that aren't going to make the top 25, but bouncing good supposed the preseason 1 and 2. Just absolutely. Arch Manning, oh my God. I'm at the point now, I feel bad for him. Like, I don't know that he ever was like acting like he was the second coming, but like so many people trying to anoint him and, maybe he'll turn around, but he's bad. He's like actually bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's,
Who does
so
Notre
how'd
Dame
you
play
feel?
this week?
I don't know, NC State, which normally I would be nervous
that's a
about
dub.
this game, but NC State is not even scrappy this year. They're just a bad team. No, not a great year from North Carolina football. I'm actually more worried about the Wake Forest game than I am for an NC State game. And not necessarily worried, but Wake Forest, they played Georgia Tech tough, 2 weeks ago. So, not a team that, UCLA just showed, if you go in sleeping in a game, any big program in the country, even if they're a 1-2 win, is going to knock you off. These are all, top prospects on big NIL deals playing at football. I'm not going to call UCLA a football powerhouse, but UCLA has put out some good teams and put some really good players in the league. I think they got a really good young coach.
Well, here's the thing. Penn State's garbage.
They are trash.
James Franklin's getting fired. They're garbage. Drew Aller's terrible. Him and Arch Manning are going to be hanging out in the XFL together.
He should have came out last year because he's hurting his draft stock.
Well, you should have known after he just handed Notre Dame the dub in the playoffs, giving us a pick, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not really too worried about that. I thought that the Boise, I didn't watch a whole lot of the Boise State game because I was at Berg, but I did watch some of it. They didn't look fantastic, but Boise State was like 20.5-point underdogs, and they ended up covering that, won by 21. So we'll take it.
Notre Dame's a superior team, but I mean, you are playing a Boise team that won their conference, was in the playoffs, had a first round bye. I don't think they lost tons. They're not a caliber of the top programs, but I wouldn't call them a terrible team. And they were a 3-1 team, So
I mean, I was happy. I was not happy to see that we only scored 28 points, but I was happy to see we only held them to 7. Because our defense has been struggling, so they're going to be fine. They're going to keep destroying people throughout the rest of the season. The fact that we're already at 16, they'll make it. If they win out, they'll make it.
Well, I mean, that just goes to lose early and lose to, I mean, we lucked out by losing to top-ranked teams when we lost to them. That was great for us. Yeah, we'll see. So good things there. Ohio State, I would say, will have their second real test, if you want to call it. I mean, I'll say the Texas game is it's not a huge test. So the Texas game, I'm not going to sit there and say that was some massive test, but you were playing a preseason, what were they, 1 or 2? They were one. And, you know, first game of the year, jitters and all that, and they definitely handled their business. But they got Illinois, and I'm not saying Illinois is a powerhouse,
That's
but they
not
are a
gonna be
ranked Illinois
close.
team. It is a ranked Illinois team. It's definitely not a Grambling or some of the other doo-doo opponents they've been playing. So they're playing like quality top 25 opponents. So, you know, it's not necessarily always about, is this on paper a better team? Is this a better team or not? I mean, it's hard. Ohio State is prone to dropping a stinker that they should win.
Listen,
you know, it's been against Michigan, but
Illinois got smoked by Indiana, and Indiana is not a very good team. They have a solid quarterback, but outside of that,
I don't know.
but
Jury's out on whether
I'm
Indiana's
looking
good.
at, and they destroyed Illinois. So Ohio State's going to win
Yeah.
by probably 350 points. But I'm looking at Ohio State's schedule right now. People want to talk so much crap about Notre Dame's not in a conference. Their schedule's terrible. Blah, 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 blah. Ohio State played Texas, who was number 1 at the time. Now they're unranked. Then Grambling State. Then OU, Washington, Minnesota. None of those teams are ranked right now. Illinois is 17. And then they have, which Illinois is going to lose this game and then probably drop to 24, 25 or out of the top 25. Then Wisconsin, Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and then not ranked until they play Michigan, who's number 15. That schedule is garbage. The Big Ten, outside of Ohio State and Michigan, is terrible. I guess Oregon.
I mean,
Oregon. I forgot about Oregon. And
yeah,
Penn,
I mean,
Penn
I'm
State
going to
isn't a
defend
good
them.
team.
And I'm not a Buckeye guy, but this is the thing. Notre Dame, to talk about their schedule and in years past before the playoff system, I think it's a valid argument to have. Last year definitely showed that they're a good team because they got in and they won games against premier programs. I'm not knocking their schedule. That's the difference, though. If you're a Big Ten, particular an SEC school, and you play through and you win that championship, it doesn't matter because you don't need to make much for an argument. You know, you're talking about they did play Texas. We know that they suck now, but they were preseason number 1. And, you know, you got an Illinois and Indiana, a Michigan and Oregon. That's a lot of ranked teams. I mean, that's just what you get with the Big Ten. In any given year, Nebraska can be decent. Wisconsin can be decent. Iowa has a decent program. So I'm not going to fault that too terribly much. That's just is what it is. There's some bad conferences. It is what it is. If you win your conference. Now, Notre Dame, on the other hand, because we don't play the conference championship, we got to play and win the games to make sure our ranking's high, and we're not going to get that first round bye ever.
Listen, first of all, we can get a first round bye now. They changed it.
They did. Okay.
If you're a top 4 team, you get a bye. It doesn't matter whether you won a conference or not. So no reason to join the conference. So. Second of all, Ohio State has Michigan, who's ranked, and they have Illinois, who's ranked. They're not playing Indiana this year, which Indiana's 5-0, which
they'll play Oregon,
and they're 7. Listen, but Indiana was also top 12 ranked team, and Notre Dame whooped them last year. So I'm not scared of Indiana. I think that they're probably frauds. They will play Oregon in the Big Ten championship, but until then, they're not going to play them. Penn State's not ranked. Texas isn't ranked. And Illinois isn't going to be ranked after this game. Meanwhile, Notre Dame's 2 losses come against number 2 Miami, 5-0, and number 5 Texas A&M, who's 5-0. So you want to talk about Notre Dame not having a tough schedule, they're not in a conference, blah, 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 blah. Ohio State has played a couple high school teams and the Cleveland Browns equivalent.
I'm not disputing the strength of Notre Dame's schedule and the 2 losses against good teams that are a total of 4 points. That's what you're going to get. I mean, the money's too lucrative for a school like that, a smaller school like that. They shouldn't join a conference. But, you know, you give up one place, you gain another, and that's what you're going to see. You're going to see you're going to see how SEC are going to get these, whether you think it's fair or not. If they run and you win your conference in either of those 2 conferences, no one's disputing.
What happens when you lose your conference and then you don't make the playoffs?
I think that's fair, but if you're the thing is, so let's say Oregon and Ohio State are one loss,
they're
rocking teams at the end of the year.
They're all making
the other team should get in.
But
I agree.
But what happens? Let's say Ohio State, Oregon are number 1 ranked, number 2 ranked. They play each other in the championship. One of those 2 is going to fall outside of getting a bye. Meanwhile, Notre Dame's 3 and they're not playing a championship, so they shouldn't move. They're going to get a bye, no matter what happens in the conference championship. Or if, let's say Oregon's number 2 and they lose, maybe they drop to 4, they probably will still get a bye.
Yeah.
But like if it's Ohio State 1, Oregon 4, and then Notre Dame's 2 or 3, if Oregon loses, they're not getting a bye. So there's no reason to be in the conference in that case, because we're stuck at our spot. We're not going to move. Meanwhile, Oregon has to play this extra game that's probably going to take them out of getting the first round bye. Which I'm not saying that the bye is that necessary, because every team that had a bye last year lost in their first game. So whatever. I'm not saying it matters too much, but like there's something to think about.
No, I mean, in a school, like I said, a school like Notre Dame, it does not make sense for them as a football team to join conference. They're their own animal. They don't need to do it. That's fine. But they're winning the game. Like, let's just bottom line with all this. If they run out this table on the season, they took care of the business that they needed to take care of. Are they going to get as high of a seed as they would like to? Maybe not, but the team's gaining confidence and playing better. They're probably going to be a scary
All they
team
got
to
to
play.
do is get in. All they have to do is get in. It doesn't matter what seed they are, because last year, like I just said, everyone that got a bye lost. Notre Dame had I think they were 7, and they made it to the national championship. So
if I'm Miami and A&M, I don't want to play them again in a playoff. Not after a close game, a team they already got to look at that's gotten better. I don't want.
You saying that they don't want to play Notre Dame?
No, they don't want any part of it.
They're getting better. I think they're getting better every week.
DJ Carr definitely looks like he's carrying himself different. He looks like he has more confidence. Again, I say this a lot.
And I think the receivers are playing better too, catching the ball, getting open. Well, Malachi Fields is a dog.
Well, when it helps when you have like 2 absolute dogs in the backfield. I mean, it's definitely opening up the passing game.
Every other time he gets the ball, it's a touchdown.
I think he had a higher yards per carry average by a fair amount last weekend.
It literally doesn't matter where he gets the ball. Every other carry is a touchdown. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting to see. So, yeah, I mean, positive news. We'll focus on that. Hopefully get a big dub over NC State this weekend. We're holding out hopes for some, late season magic out of Notre Dame, and hoping that the Browns are just going to disappoint us. So, well, we are days away from NHL season. So we haven't talked tons of NHL today. It did start late. I was thinking it was Wednesday.
The Avs play tonight.
We were on the verge. So anyway, we haven't talked tons of NHL. We're big NHL guys. Grew up, I was at 80s Oilers, massive Wayne Gretzky fan. No, well, I didn't have a team, so that's not a bandwagoner. I loved Messier, Gretzky, Glenn Anderson, Yari Curry, Paul Coffey. Yeah, it's taking in. You name it.
Good. The goalies were terrible.
Greatest, most exciting, funnest. You know what that team was? That was an entire hockey team of Michael Jordans in the 80s. They were great. So
Michael Jordan is a bum, and
we'll get into that in a minute,
Wayne Gretzky's highlights. The goalie is backwards. He's not even looking at him. He's like this, and Gretzky just shoots it. We're not going to do that.
Equipment, skates, there's so many things that go into it.
It's pathetic.
So this is, Nate and I are usually on the same page. He's flat out wrong about this. And in a bear line, we're going to go away from ability. The game, what it is today, and the expansion of the game, particularly where you've seen, other than the Four Nations tournament last year, the play of a American national team as well as Americans in the NHL, you can thank Wayne Gretzky for the Southern expansion. Like, that was unbelievable. That was like Wayne Gretzky going to LA was like the Beatles' British invasion with music in the United States. Like, he opened up the minds and hearts to hockey and inspired a lot of young people to play. And there's a lot of studs in the league.
You could be an inspiration without being the best player at.
We're not going to get into, if you're the greatest player in your era, you were a great player. You're basically saying everybody that was in the NHL during that time was not a premier athlete. I'm not saying that he wasn't
a good player in his era, but compared, and this is the same thing for LeBron, compared to the league now and the Everybody is good. You got all the film, all the training. They are much better. Athletes, their hockey skills are better. Their basketball skills are better. They're better at shooting in either sport, stick handling. They're better players overall than they
This
were.
would be my argument to somebody like him. So as far as not everybody, I would say in all sports, like so many players in all of the leagues have started extremely early, and everybody's going to camps, and everybody's like starting to play at 5, and they're doing it all year, and that's it. And that wasn't always the case. Some of the players, like Wayne, did start at a very young age, and he played hockey. He did diversify. He was an excellent baseball player. I think, he's a good track player. And
Track
I think
player?
Or track. Shut up. He was a great track athlete, and he was.
That's all you need to know. Wayne Gretzky played hockey back in the day when you played track in 1826.
Shut up. So my point is, if you take great athletes in their era and they did the same training, they probably would have been just equally as great of athletes in the same era. That's true. And then there's the other thing that I will say, some of the greats that transcend eras is their sort of mental capacity for like the fire to want to win, what they did with their teammates, how they held people accountable, just the way with which they played the game. And he absolutely did. So back on track. Never had a hockey team of my own anywhere I lived. So moved to Colorado, big Avs fans. The Avs were coming off of probably their shittiest season in franchise history since they were the Avs. They were pretty bad when they were the Nordiques. But really fun young team. We watched them, very much like the Guardians, like get into the playoffs when they shouldn't have got into the playoffs. The whole bit, but they've been awesome. We got a cup under them. So going into this year, there definitely is something to be said about the swagger being back with Gabe Landeskog. He looks strong. He looks motivated. He did not come back to just come back and tell everybody that he overcame the surgery. Dude's looking to win a cup, and the team looks hungry. And since they won a cup, this is the first time I really feel like the interviews, what you're seeing out of the boys just definitely is like, we're not here to talk. We're not here to make the playoffs. Like, this is our window. We're here to win games. I think you're going to see a feistier, much more physical team than you've seen in the past. And they have the guns to do it. I still think there's another move to be made. I don't think they're going to do it probably until we get into the Christmas or even after, the Christmas time, depending on how the year goes. If they hit it out of the park and the team looks like it's gelling, maybe they stay on pat, but I still think there potentially is something hanging out there with Gerard or in Netchus if they feel like there's a piece and they can get better. We'll see what happens. Don't be crazy if you see a Crosby go to the Avs before the year is out, but it should be exciting. The East, to me, I wasn't as scared of these, but I am scared of the Panthers. I'm not now. I think the Panthers have some serious injury issues trying to three-peat. I think that's going to be tough for them. Out west, I think Vegas is going to be a tough team again. I think Winnipeg is going to be a tough team, but they can't win in the playoffs. So, we'll see. Did you see big contract? McDavid signed the 2-year short deal out of Edmonton, so he's staying. They don't scare me. They're a soft doo-doo team. So we'll see what happens. What do you think? Any predictions for this year's season?
Yeah, Avs are going to win the Stanley Cup. Valerie Nichushkin's going to have 100 points. McKinnon's going to have 100 points. Landeskog's probably going to have 100 points. Sidney Crosby's going to join them in January and win a cup. Mackenzie Blackwood will get the Vezina. We're just going to be the best team ever, basically, is my prediction.
I mean, if they stay pat right now to start the season, you think line 1, Nathan McKinnon, arguably best player 1-2, depending how you do it. And I'm not talking straight goal scoring. I'm talking an all-around physical player that's done it. He's arguably the best player in the league. Okay.
McKinnon?
And McKinnon. And Makar is there too, but Nathan McKinnon is arguably, and I'll say arguably, he's arguably the best player in the league. Then you put him with
he would work McDavid.
If you put him out there with a net just who can skate, he can fly. I think the question mark on him is putting the puck in the net, but he is a high caliber player. And you put Arturi Lehkonen on the other side. That's a scary top line.
Lehkonen finds
But
the
let
back
me-
of the net a lot.
He is become our poor man's Mikko Rantanen that actually plays both ends of the ice, though. I love Arturi Lehkonen. But so you think of that and you're like, yeah, that's a pretty good. That's a solid. That's a top line. That's a couple guys on there. It's got a cup under the belt. Then you go to line 2.
Nichushkin.
You go Brock Nelson, a healthy, really good headspace this year going into the season, Valerie Nichushkin, and a Gabriel Landeskog with a fire under his ass. That is one of the scariest second lines in the league. That's a terrifying second line right there. Like, I almost don't want to play that line over the top line. Like, first of all, they're going to be hurting people. That's about as physical as a second line as you're going to get, or any line as you're going to get. Just speed, power. I love Brock Nelson. Dude can skate. He's huge. I mean, size. Those are some giant individuals on that line. And then I love how scrappy our bottom 6 is. You know, when we get the mayor back, who's ahead of schedule, he's scrappy. You got Parker Kelly is scrappy. Joel Kivirana is another one. He's scrappy. You know, I think over in the Marty Netjes trade, I think Drury, I think he's going to be an absolute stud. I think I like what I see and what we got him for more than I like what we got out of Martin, just to be honest with you. 2 healthy goaltenders, one of them with his eye on the, I can't say it,
Vizina.
The Benzina. And a very capable backup in Scott Wedgwood. I think he's a big goal backup.
And
Like,
I
if you
expect
could-
to see Minter, is that his name? Minzer Trent from the Eagles?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Minor,
expect-
isn't it?
Something like that. I don't know. But I
Yeah.
expect to see him play.
Well, the other guy is this year. The rumor is, you locked up Wedgwood and or not Wedgwood, Blackwood, and Wedgwood you got for one more year. But I can't think of his name. The Russian goalie that we have, supposed to be a stud. I believe he's stateside this year, or he will be at some point. I think their count is he's the future and will be McKenzie's backup next year, and they probably won't re-sign Wedgwood. So things look pretty good, defensively. You got probably the top pairing in the league in Taze and Makar, if you ask me. I think you got Brett Burns. That's kind of a fun one to me. I want to see Brett Burns on the ice with like Keith Middleton in the second line, just getting a melee. You're getting beat up. Oh yeah, you're getting your ass kicked. If those 5 are on the ice, somebody's getting their ass handed to them. It's going to be great. But pretty jazzed about the season. So expect more hockey talk. Hockey is as much as, look, I'm just going to say it. Browns are my number 1. I love that team. They make me angry. Notre Dame's second. My Avs are right there. So, hopefully if you win those playoffs for the NHL, you truly are the best team in your sport. I think that is the most ridiculous, tough, physical, attrition playoff in all of sports. Looking forward to a fun season.
They play at 10:30 my time, 7:30 over there. Versus the Kings
Sweet.
tonight.
Dude, I
On
can't get used to this
ESPN.
Pacific Coast time. It's messing me up, man. And also, to get away from sports for a second, I went out to San Francisco. Not a bad little airport. Drive into the city. Oh my goodness, traffic sucks horribly. But took the ferry out to Alcatraz yesterday. Oh, newsflash, we're not housing prisoners out at Alcatraz anymore, but every fly in the country is on Alcatraz. I was literally I was swarmed by flies and fresh cow shit. I literally, the entire time I was on the island, just being absolutely assaulted by flies. It was killing me, but saw a seal, saw some dolphins. Didn't get haunted. The place is pretty haunted out there, but yeah, it was cool. It was good to see. Travel wise, half the travel is done. No good stories. Southwest was on time. I will say this: Southwest changed my flight 400 times yesterday. We're supposed to leave at 11. Then it was updated to 11:06. Then 11:36. Then 11:33. Then it just proceeded to go a minute earlier and a minute later for like 4 hours. If it's not like a 15-minute difference, let's just not change the time because it's irrelevant, right? But they love to
Mhm.
do this. They're like, they'll push it later and then they move it back up. Well, you just fucked everybody that you told's not boarding for a while. So whatever. So anyway, I digress. A couple other quick hitters. F1 last weekend, Singapore, George Russell getting the first dub of the season. More drama with the McLaren boys. So Piastri and Norris got into each other. Piastri still leading the championship. Norris, he did beat him last weekend, but that relationship is souring fast. It's hard pressed for me to see those two be on the same team next year. I feel like Piastri's being done dirty a little bit. I like him. Lando Norris sort of coming off as a crybaby to me a little bit. I don't know. So we'll see. McLaren locked up the constructor championship. So it's all a few more races, settle the world championship, but we still got the Vegas trip on the table. Good time to go Vegas, even that weekend for the Browns F1 race. Hotel and flights, pretty inexpensive. Please explain to me why the Raiders tickets, though, are as expensive as they are. You're
That's
a
what our
shitty
tickets are
team.
getting ready to gonna be like. I can't talk.
Yeah.
Our tickets are gonna be like that when they get the new stadium. They not only have a new stadium, but you're in Vegas, so it's already expensive.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
Haslam's like, I just keep hooping this fan base, and they just keep coming back. Like, what can we do? And they're like, let's up the prices.
Yeah, let's make our
Well,
tickets over $200.
what if that doesn't work? Let's lock the doors at a game and just set the stadium on fire then, because I'm running out of ideas on how to just make the Browns fan base more miserable than they already are.
Because he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
The
We
dude
need LeBron.
was a minority owner for the Steelers. He's infiltrated our organization, and we shouldn't have let it happen.
We need LeBron James to retire so he can buy the team, bring Mike Vrabel in as the head coach, and get two Ohio people that care about seeing the teams
He's
win.
a fake Ohio person. He's a Yankees and Cowboys fan because he's a
if
front
LeBron
runner.
came to Cleveland with he
I want
has the money
nothing
to
to do
buy
with
the
him.
team, he would. That's why he came back. He wanted to bring the Cavaliers a chip. He wanted to bring Cleveland a chip. He would care just as much about the Browns. Name another rich person from Ohio that would care about the Browns being good. Because the Haslams don't care.
I don't want 'em.
They care about making money. They don't care about the Browns being
Why can't
good.
a true Cleveland legend
We don't
have
have
enough
any
money to be? I know, let's get a Super Joe Charbonneau from the '80s Indians, or a Bernie Kosar. What's Sipe doing these days? Can we get it like a real Cleveland sports legend, not LeBron? I'm doing the announcement too. Not better than Michael Jordan. I'm not going to have this argument with you.
Did you hear about his?
He's
did you hear about the announcement?
You told me about it.
I know, but did you watch it today?
Did he do it? No.
No, he goes like
What did he
this.
say?
Everyone's like, oh, he's going to go back to the Cavs. Oh, he's going to be retiring, blah, 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 blah. The guy goes, so LeBron, what's your decision? And LeBron goes like this. I've been thinking about it all night, or I don't remember exactly, but decided I'm going to be taking my talents to Hennessy. It's a Hennessy commercial.
Are you kidding me?
No.
He bothers me.
I was like
it's
I pulled
too
it
soon.
up. Dude, and everybody is just clowning it. They're like from, what's it called? Christmas Story. They're like posting the it's a crummy commercial memes everywhere.
It's a crummy commercial, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Drink your Hennessy with his Dakota ring.
Literally.
That's
They
awesome.
it's so stupid. I thought they were going to be like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm going to go back to Cleveland, or no, he's retiring at some point. So I thought that, like, because everyone expects him to want to do like a send-off tour and have every game recorded, and everyone's going to be like, oh, this is the last time LeBron will ever play this team, this ever, like,
good riddance.
That's what he's the GOAT, so I don't even want to hear what you have to say. Michael Jordan, LeBron James 1v1, he would destroy him. We're not going to get into that because
we're not getting into it because you're just flat out wrong.
You're just going to make me mad.
You're wrong.
You're going to make me mad.
You're wrong. Well, let's move away from sports talk. I know we're running long, but I wanted to get in. I had a business opportunity strike me last week as I was struggling to go to sleep and I was being angry laying in bed. So I don't know, this Build-A-Bears at the mall. You got to go spend, $8,000 to $10,000 stuffing a shitty bear, so your kid, or he just has a meltdown in the mall. Build a pillow. So here's my whole premise on this. Have you ever out of the box just built a pillow that like you love and then it stays good? No, they all suck. Like I'm struggling between the double pillow If I go double pillow, I feel like I just had like the Undertaker choke me out. And then if I go a single pillow,
I
I
can't.
feel like I'm sleeping on the street. I just may as well be laying on cement. So here's the deal. We've come up with a Build-A-Pillow. We have all kinds of like different kind of like covering fabric options going on. You can pick your fabric. You can pick your filler. You get to stuff it. We're going to do like trial, like 20-minute nap areas in there. But we charge people like, how much could that cost? I gotta feel like if you put one of those in like, Cleveland, the Beach Park Mall, or out in Colorado, like Park Meadow, like some nice ritzy mall, and then like charge people like $75 to build a pillow. I'm
I don't
not
think
talking
anybody's
like,
paying that.
listen, I'm not talking Joe, you know, blue collar guy that's out there working his ass off every day, that works hard for his money, and he's trying to be reasonable. I'm talking about like, the guy that you don't know what to buy for. He's got his rich wife, and she decides, oh, I'm going to build him a pillow. And she's definitely going to do it for him, because she's probably telling him what to do in his entire life anyways. She's going to tell him if the pillow's comfortable or not. But I'm telling you, people will pay it. So maybe this is part of the business plan that we need to work on here. Do we want to go? Are we going with the $25 pillow when we're marketing this as a man of the people and for everybody? Or are we
I
going
think we meet in the
75 and
middle
we're
and go
putting it?
like $40 and meet in the middle. Or you just go, you have a range. If you don't want a super fancy pillow, you can give it for like 25, but if you want all the bells and whistles, then we're gonna obviously up the price.
What about like we're a shell corporation here, like we're backing it anonymously, and we have like build a pillow. It's all really high end, but then we actually also build back the other business. It's like, like Pillow Builders, which is literally like the knockoff one. And it's literally, you can we just put those in the crappy malls. We put those in strip malls, but those are like $19, but all the materials cost like $7.25. It's an
Okay.
idea.
I just find it
People have paid
interesting.
more for less.
I find it interesting how you know so much about Build-A-Bear, because I've never taken me personally, but
You were a
it's just
big
weird.
Build-A-Bear guy when you were a kid,
I've never
all
been.
the time.
I've
Oh
literally
yeah.
never been. So that's just to get that out of the way for starters. Second of all, I'm not really a big pillow guy to begin with. I can't. I used to, when I was little, like I had to have two pillows, but now I will actually crash out if there's just a second pillow behind me. We have this like
Oh,
body
it's
pillow
terrible.
that goes behind the back of the bed, and like I'll use it to like watch TV and like prop up. But when it's time to go to bed, I actually get angry at the pillow because it just bothers me so much. But I would rather not have a pillow than have a pillow that's too big. I want one that's like maybe that thick. Like it's not
I need
much
a
of a pillow, but just something just to lift my head up a little bit. Because like I would rather lay just flat, because if I lay flat, my neck isn't really bending any way. Or like a pillow that just raises my head a little bit. With the double
I don't
pillow, I'm
know.
waking
I'm
up
thinking
and my neck is stuck forward.
double pillow is the
Um,
worst thing ever. But this is a pro move. I don't have it here. I'm at the Hilton. They just went like 4 standard pillows,
Slight
but no,
flex on us.
it's
I'm at
not a
the
flex.
Hilton, so
No, I was gonna say the Westin I like, because the Westin puts like 100 pillows on your bed, but they're like
on
assorted
your bled.
sizes on your bed. And they put assorted sizes and densities and thicknesses. So like, it's not like, oh, here's just a whole bunch of pillows for one person that are like all going to be horrible. Like, we're going to let you try them out, test them. Hopefully one of these 5 to 6 pillows is going to work for you. That's a good move. That's where you know you're staying somewhere decent. I don't need the Egyptian cotton and the high end coffee and all that.
75,000 thread count, all that.
Yeah, I don't need
Yes.
that, but I do need some pillow options to get a good night's sleep. Also, I walked out. So when I say that they put me in the room by the elevator, I'm inside the
I can hear
elevator
it. I
shaft.
can hear it.
Yeah, I'm in the elevator shaft. Like you literally, they're like, oh, you just take a right from the elevator and then it's the first door on the right. No, you take a right and then an immediate right into your room. But I didn't think anything of it yesterday because it was hot and I like cranked the AC so it was loud. And there's just like this big contraption by the bed. And I'm like, oh, what's that for? It's not the clock or anything. It's a white noise machine, aka let's see if we can hide the elevator noise. Cause that's literally all it's for. I was just like, are we this close to the airport? Because it literally sounds like, when you're like listening to jets take off and you hear that like, it just sounds like that when it's running up and down. I was like, are the plane's going over? And I think we're that close to the airport. No, it's the elevators. So that's pretty
Nice.
sweet. But yeah, one more
Nice.
night of this, and then I'll be heading back to Denver. Well, I know that's about all I had for this week. We got a big week. I know you got Beans is coming in town to watch the games with you, get some home cooking. Hopefully we'll pick up a win against NC State, screw around, win the Steelers game. I'd say I'm going to try to keep it together this weekend. You've all heard me say I don't expect to win this game. I won't. I'll be losing my mind. So I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about, but I'll get into the first handful of games this season in the NHL season. So that's all I got for you. How about you, Nate?
Well, I'm not expecting too much. Notre Dame's gonna win, or I'm gonna freak out. They have to win, or for their sake, I hope they do. Or it
Yeah.
won't be good for Marcus Freeman. I'll give him a piece of my mind. The
No,
Browns are
he doesn't want
terrible,
that.
so I'm just upset. I'm still sad about the Browns. I am actually hyped about Joe Flacco, so maybe I can get excited about the game. But I'm pumped to watch the Avs tonight, and that's about it.
Sounds good. Well, good talking to everybody. We'll catch you all next week. Stay cool.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Stay classy, Cleveland.
Come back, beat kicks and crowd noise, whistle blows.